She shouldn't have followed him. That is the first mistake. The second is letting the corridor empty before she says what she came to say. The eastern wing of the keep is quiet at this hour. Torches burn low. The council has long since dismissed, and the servants have retreated to the lower halls. He is walking ahead of her, boots steady against stone, shoulders squared, posture composed. She almost turns back. Almost. Your Grace. He stops. Doesn't turn immediately. That restraint is deliberate. What is it, he asks. Calm. Measured. As though he doesn't know. She closes the distance between them. Not too much. Not enough to invite suspicion, but enough to make this private. You embarrassed him, she says quietly. Which one, he asks. She resists the urge to sigh. You know which one. He turns then. Slowly. His gaze lands on her, steady and assessing. He embarrassed himself, he says evenly. You didn't have to correct him in front of everyone. Yes, I did. His answer is immediate. She folds her arms, not defensive, but bracing. He touched you, he says. Her pulse flickers. It was nothing. It was not nothing. The way he says it changes the air between them. Not loud. Not angry. Certain. You're overreacting, she says. He takes one step closer. I am not. The corridor feels narrower suddenly. I can handle myself, she says. I know. Then why? Because I don't like watching someone else think they're allowed. The words are quiet, controlled, and far more honest than she expected. She looks at him carefully now. You don't own that right, she says. No. Then why act like you do? His jaw tightens slightly. I don't. Then what was that tonight? His gaze lowers, not to her hands, not to her body, but to the space between them. It was clarity. She laughed softly. That's what you call it? Yes. You call stepping between me and another man clarity? Yes. She studies him. You're very certain of yourself. Yes. You shouldn't be. He steps closer again. Now there's no pretense left. You think I did that because I'm arrogant, he says. I think you did it because you're territorial. His eyes darken slightly at that. Territorial implies ownership, he says. And I do not own you. The firmness in his voice settles something in her chest, but not enough. Then why intervene, she presses. Because I wanted to. The honesty hits harder than the possessiveness ever could. She swallows. That's not a reason. It is for me. They are close now. Close enough that she feels the warmth radiating from him. Close enough that stepping back would be noticeable. You can't just decide you want something and take space, she says quietly. I didn't take you, he replies. No. No. His voice lowers. I stepped between you and someone who thought he could. The distinction matters. And she knows it. But she refuses to let him see that yet. You could have handled it privately. I did. In front of everyone. Yes. Why? His gaze sharpens slightly. So they understand. Understand what? That proximity to you is not casual. Her pulse stumbles. That sounds dangerously close to a claim. It is not. Then what is it? He exhales slowly. Respect. The word is softer than she expected. But it doesn't ease the tension. You're rewriting this to suit yourself, she says. No. You're pretending this was noble. It was. The calm certainty in him is infuriating. And intoxicating. You don't get to decide what proximity to me means, she says. No, he agrees. But I do get to decide what proximity from others looks like. That stops her. Because it isn't possessive. It's protective. And she hates that it makes her breath hitch slightly. You're very bold tonight, she says. I've been restrained for months. And tonight you decided you were done. Yes. The admission lands in the corridor like a dropped blade. You don't get to decide that alone, she says. I didn't. He steps closer. Now there is barely space between them. You didn't step away, he says quietly. The accusation is gentle, but precise. I didn't need to. You didn't want to. The truth of that hangs heavy. She opens her mouth to argue. He moves first. Not violently. Not aggressively. But decisively. His hand reaches for her wrist. Not gripping hard. Not hurting. Just steady enough to stop her retreat. He guides her back one step. Then another. Until her shoulder brushes stone. The wall is cool against her back. Her breath catches. He steps in close. Not crushing. Not trapping. But there is no longer space between them. You're proving my point, she says, her voice lower now. No, he replies. I'm finishing it. His free hand comes to rest beside her head against the wall, braced, not touching her. She feels the warmth of his body without pressure. You shouldn't, she begins. He leans in, close enough that his mouth hovers near her ear. If you want me to move, he murmurs, say it. The words send heat down her spine. She could. She should. But she doesn't. Her hands rest against his chest, not pushing. Just there. You're very confident, she whispers. No. Then what are you? He shifts slightly, closing the last inch of space between them. Done pretending, he says. Her pulse pounds now. The corridor feels impossibly quiet. Pretending what? She asked softly. That I don't want to do this. Her breath falters. You think pinning me against a wall is subtle? No. His mouth is closer now. So close she feels the heat of it without contact. It's not meant to be. Her fingers curl slightly in his tunic. You don't get to decide this moment alone, she says. I'm not. Then what are you waiting for? His gaze drops to her lips, then returns to her eyes. For you to tell me to stop. She swallows. The wall is cool behind her. His body is warm in front of her. The contrast is unbearable. You're assuming I won't, she says. I am. The arrogance of it should anger her. Instead, it sends heat straight through her chest. You're impossible, she murmurs. Yes. And reckless. Yes. And if someone sees us? They won't. You sound very sure. I lock the outer door. Her heart jumps. You what? He doesn't break eye contact. I didn't want interruption. The words land between them. Heavy. Intentional. You planned this, she breathes. Yes. Her pulse thunders in her ears. You're dangerous, she whispers. His mouth curves faintly. Only if you want me to be. His thumb brushes lightly against her jaw, barely touching. Testing. Her breath catches. You're very quiet now, he murmurs. You pin me against a wall. Yes. And you expect me to speak clearly? No. His lips hover just inches from hers. And I'm not asking you to. The air between them vibrates. You're going to kiss me, she says softly. Yes. Like the door is locked. Yes. And if I tell you not to, I'll step back. The certainty in that steadies her. Because she believes him. And that belief is what undoes her. Her fingers tighten slightly at his chest. Not pushing. Holding. You're very sure I won't tell you to stop, she whispers. He leans in just enough that their foreheads almost touch. I am. Her breath falters. And this time, she doesn't tell him to stop. She doesn't tell him to stop. That is the first truth. The second is that she leans forward first. It's barely noticeable, just a fraction of movement, but enough to erase the final inch of distance between them. His breath meets hers. Warm, steady, controlled. You're not resisting, he murmurs. You're not moving, she replies. A faint curve touches his mouth. Say it, he whispers. Say what? That you want this. Her pulse pounds against her throat. The wall at her back is cool stone. His body in front of her is heat and weight and steadiness. The contrast makes her breath shallow again. You're very sure of yourself, she says softly. No, he replies. I'm sure of you. That does it. Her fingers tighten at his tunic, pulling him the slightest bit closer. That's not an answer, she whispers. It is. And then he kisses her. Not abruptly, not roughly, but with intention so unmistakable it feels like the corridor itself shifts. His mouth presses to hers with controlled firmness, not devouring, not reckless, but claiming the moment they've been circling for months. Her breath leaves her in a slow, stunned exhale. His hand at her jaw steadies her, not forcing her head, just grounding her in the contact. For a heartbeat, she freezes. Not from fear, from recognition. This is not accidental. This is not a brush of lips that can be dismissed as tension or mistake. This is deliberate. Chosen. She responds. Slowly at first, her mouth softening against his, fingers curling more securely into his collar. He notices instantly. His other hand shifts from bracing against the wall to resting at her waist. Firm. Anchoring. The pressure is enough to pull her fully against him. Not trapping. Not crushing. Just removing space. The kiss deepens gradually. Not frantic. Not urgent. But heavier now. Warmer. She feels the control in him. The restraint still present beneath the heat. He is not losing himself. He is allowing this. When he pulls back, it is only slightly. Their foreheads remain close. You're still here, he murmurs. Yes. You didn't push me away. No. His thumb traces lightly along her jawline. Good. She exhales slowly. That was not subtle. No. And if someone had walked in, they wouldn't. You sound certain. I am. Her eyes narrow slightly. You're very prepared tonight. Yes. Why? His gaze searches hers. Not playful, not evasive. Because I was done waiting for chance, he says. The honesty hits harder than the kiss. She swallows. You plan to corner me? No, he replies evenly. I plan to stop stepping back. The distinction matters. She shifts slightly against the wall. His hand tightens instinctively at her waist, steadying her, not forcing her. You're not afraid of consequences, she says quietly. I am. Then why risk this? His voice lowers. Because watching someone else think they could stand this close to you felt worse. Her pulse stutters. That sounds dangerously possessive. It isn't. Then what is it? Honest. Silence falls between them again. Heavy, charged, impossible to ignore. His hand slides slightly higher along her side. Not wandering, not indecent, but firm enough to remind her how close they are. You're trembling again, he says. You pin me to a wall. Yes. And kissed me like you'd already decided. I had. The bluntness makes heat rush through her chest. You're insufferable, she whispers. Yes. And reckless. Yes. And if I walk away right now? He doesn't hesitate. I'll let you. Her eyes searches. You would. Yes. The certainty in his voice steadies her more than anything else has. He isn't holding her there. He's giving her the option. Always. Her fingers slide slowly from his collar to the edge of his shoulder. Not pushing. Tracing. You don't look like a man who plans to step back, she murmurs. I don't plan to, he replies. Unless you ask. Her hand flattens briefly against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm beneath. You're not as calm as you pretend, she says. No. His hand shifts again, this time sliding around to the small of her back. The contact is firmer now. Grounding. When he leans in again, there is no pause. The second kiss is deeper. Less cautious. Still controlled, but undeniably heated now. She responds without hesitation, her body pressing fully into his. The wall is no longer the focus. The closeness is. Her breath tangles with his. His grip at her waist tightens slightly. Not possessive. Protective. When he pulls back this time, her lips follow for half a heartbeat before she catches herself. He notices. His mouth curves faintly. You're not standing still anymore, he murmurs. No. Good. Her hand slides upward, fingers threading lightly into the back of his hair. The movement surprises both of them. His breath catches, just barely. You're bold tonight, he says. You started it. Yes. His forehead rests briefly against hers. You're not afraid of me, he says softly. I'm not. You should be. I trust you. The words settle between them with more weight than anything else. Trust. It's what allowed this. It's what makes this different from recklessness. His hand moves slowly along her back, tracing the line of her spine through fabric, steady and deliberate. You're very aware of where you're touching, she says quietly. Yes. Even now. Yes. He steps back half an inch. Not enough to create distance, just enough to look at her fully. You're not angry, he says. No. You're not offended. No. You're not walking away. No. The repetition builds something electric in the air. And you still haven't told me to stop, he murmurs. Her breath is steady now. Warm. Close. I'm not going to, she replies. The answer lands between them like a promise. His thumb brushes lightly beneath her ear. I wanted to do that for a long time, he admits. I know. You did. Yes. Her fingers slide back down to his collar again. You're not subtle, she says. No. And you don't plan to be. No. He leans in again, but this time he doesn't kiss her immediately. His lips hover just near hers. Breath mingling. You said I kissed you like the door was locked, he murmurs. Yes. It is. Her pulse jumps. You did lock it? Yes. Why? Because I didn't want interruption. The truth is steady. Certain. Not impulsive. You're dangerous, she whispers. Only if you want me to be. Her hand tightens at his collar again. I don't want safe, she murmurs. His eyes darken. Good. And this time, when he kisses her, there is no hesitation left between them. When he kisses her this time, it is no longer a question. It is not testing. It is not restrained curiosity. It is heat held carefully in both hands. Her fingers tighten in his collar, and instead of holding him there out of surprise, she pulls him closer. That is the difference. He feels it immediately. The shift. She is no longer pinned. She is choosing. His hand at her waist tightens in response. Not possessive, grounding. His other hand slides from the wall to her jaw, tilting her face slightly upward. The kiss deepens. Still controlled. Still deliberate. But heavier now. Her breath breaks against his mouth, and this time she doesn't try to steady it. She lets him hear it. He breaks the kiss only long enough to murmur against her lips. "You're not afraid. No. You're not resisting. No. And you still haven't told me to stop." Her hands slide from his collar to the back of his neck. "I won't." The words are barely more than breath, but they undo him more than anything else has. His mouth returns to hers, slower this time, not urgent, but claiming the moment fully. He presses her more firmly against the wall, not crushing, not trapping, just closing the last remnants of distance. Her back arches slightly under the pressure. He notices. Of course he does. His hand shifts at her waist, sliding along her side. Not wandering, not indecent, but firm enough to draw her fully into him. She exhales sharply. "You're very certain now," he murmurs against her mouth. "Yes. You're not walking away." "No." He pulls back slightly, just enough to look at her. Her lips are flushed. Her breath unsteady. Her eyes clear. Not confused. Not overwhelmed. "Certain. You're choosing this," he says quietly. "Yes." "Say it." She meets his gaze without hesitation. "I'm choosing you." The words land heavier than the kiss ever could. Something in his expression shifts. Not softening. Not losing control, but deepening. He kisses her again. Slower now. Not consuming, but deliberate. Her hands slide down his shoulders to his chest, fingers pressing firmly through the fabric. She is no longer reacting. She is participating. When he lifts her slightly, just enough that her feet barely leave the floor, she gasps softly. Not startled, just caught in the intensity of it. "You're reckless," she murmurs. "Yes." "And impossible." "Yes." "And you don't plan to apologize." "No." He sets her back down gently, not to release her, but to look at her properly. "We can stop," he says. The offer is real. It always has been. She studies him, breath still uneven, pulse racing. "You don't want to." "No. Neither do I." That is the final line between tension and inevitability. He leans in again, but this time the kiss slows. It settles. Less about proving something, more about acknowledging it. Her hands slide up again, one threading into his hair, the other gripping his shoulder. His hands remain at her waist, thumbs pressing lightly into the curve of her sides. The corridor feels smaller, quieter, the outside world irrelevant. When he finally steps back, it isn't abrupt. It's measured. His forehead rests against hers for a moment. "We can't stay here," he murmurs. "No, not because I want to stop. I know, but because when we walk back into the keep, they'll know," she finishes. "Yes." Her fingers linger at his collar. "Good." He studies her expression carefully. "You're not afraid of that." "No. They'll talk. They already do." He exhales slowly. "And this will change how they look at you. It will change how they look at us." The distinction matters. His hand slides from her waist to take her hand. Not hidden. Not subtle. Just firm. Intentional. "You understand what that means," he says quietly. "Yes." "Once we step out of this corridor, it's not secret anymore." She squeezes his hand once. It was never secret. The truth of that settles heavily between them. They have been circling this for months. Careful. Restrained. Measured. The kiss didn't create something new. It revealed what was already there. He steps back first, not distancing himself, but giving her space to stand without the wall behind her. She straightens slightly. Adjusts nothing. He doesn't either. The outer door remains locked. He releases her hand only long enough to retrieve the key from his pocket. The sound of the mechanism turning feels louder than it should. A threshold, not just of a corridor, of something larger. When he opens the door, the torchlight from the wider hall spills in. They step out together, side by side, close enough that their shoulders brush. Not touching hands, not clinging, but unmistakably aligned. A pair of guards at the far end of the hall glance up as they pass. Their eyes shift subtly. Not shocked, not scandalized. Aware. She keeps her posture steady, chin lifted. He does the same. By morning, the atmosphere within the keep feels altered. Subtle, but undeniable. At council, she takes her usual seat at his left. There is no exaggerated distance between them now. No careful avoidance. No pretense. Bram clears his throat first. "My lord," he begins cautiously. There seems to be speculation. There always is, the Duke replies evenly. Silence follows. She doesn't look at him, but she feels the warmth of his presence beside her. This will not affect governance, she says calmly before anyone presses further. Her voice is steady, measured, the same composure she's always carried. The difference is not in her authority. It's in the certainty behind it. No one argues, because there is nothing to argue. That evening, they stand on the western ramparts overlooking the city. The wind lifts her hair slightly. He stands close behind her, not pinning, not trapping, just present. His hand rests lightly at her waist. Open, visible. You don't regret it, he says quietly. No, you'd do it again. Yes. He studies her profile. And if I pin you against another wall? Her lips curve faintly. I might not wait for you to start. A quiet laugh escapes him, low and satisfied. You're very bold now, he says. You taught me. He turns her slightly to face him. No walls behind her this time. No trapped space. Just open air. You're not standing still anymore, he murmurs. No. Good. His hand tightens gently at her waist. Not claiming. Not possessive. Chosen. The city below hums with life. Unaware of the exact moment something shifted. He pinned her against a wall. He kissed her like the door was locked. But what changed everything was that she never told him to stop. And when they stepped back into the light, she stood beside him. Not behind. Not beneath. Beside. And that was the real difference.